Episode of Asexualized, My Asexual Life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you and yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button down below now. Please hit that bell icon so that you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And don't forget to hit that great big subscribe button down below so you don't miss an episode. Don't miss it, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like it. So yeah, in today's episode I am going to be reading you a poem, and this particular poem is by one of my asexual friends called Amit Singh. And he's actually Indian. He's one of my friends, and he's in a very happy relationship, so that's good. I actually like the fact he's an asexual Indian guy that actually puts in a relationship on there. So I know a lot of foreign guys, they tend to, even if they're in a relationship, not put they're in a relationship, which is really naughty. So I think that's really, really good that he's like that. And he wrote this particular poem on International Celebrate Being Single Day, and that's the same day as Valentine's Day. So he wrote a love poem. He watches this channel and he really would love me to read it out. So he actually sent it to me last month in February. It's now March 2019, and I said that I'd read it out for him. He's good at poetry. I like doing poems myself, to be honest, and I just wanted to read it out for him because I said I would. And big love to him from his asexual friend in the UK, me, for writing this poem, and I hope you enjoy it. He identifies as demisexual, asexual, and it's really interesting, some of the content in this poem, because there was one thing that wasn't personally what I agreed with, but I thought it was a very interesting point of view, so let me read it out to you. This poem's called True Love. True love is not dying together. True love is living together forever. True love is not wiping tears. True love is making smile after tears. True love is not about spending time together. True love is making memories that whenever remember smiles alive with dimples. True love is not sharing selfies together. True love is having place in heart forever. True love is not about lust. In true love, lust is making lovers smile. True love is not about marrying partner. True love is about holding marriage with same charm as day one all of life. True love is pure. Love is cured by gifting smiles. I love that bit. True love is not pretending with lies. True love is gifting own smiles by replacing cries. So yeah, I just thought it was a beautiful poem. Really, really lovely poem. Yeah, it's really nice when he was on about, true pure love is not about lust, in true love, lust is making lovers smile. So I think that's a really good to have an asexual poem about love. I've written a poem a while ago on my asexualise.com site, and I just think it's so nice when you have a poem that comes from an asexual, because they view love as very differently. So when he said, in true love, lust is making lovers smile, so I kind of think, because he's demisexual, I'm heteromantic, so I kind of think that, for me, I don't experience like the sex lust, like I want to have sex, but I do experience the emotional bond lust. I kind of lust after that deep emotional connection with someone in my soul. I think it's really difficult to get a deep emotional connection. I do have that with a couple of my friends, I would say, quite strongly, which is really unusual for me, because I didn't used to associate that with just friendship. I only in the past associated that with relationships, being in a relationship. So that's taken me a while to kind of understand that and come to terms with it. I think I'm still coming to terms with it, really. I know for asexuals in the majority, emotional connection is quite natural and normal for most people to want to be emotionally connected to their friends, and for that to happen, I would say quite a lot, especially in platonic friendships. So for example, with aromantic asexuals, I think that's, you know, like, it's really important. But, you know, for me, it's in, you know, I consider a deep emotional connection usually as one that you would have with someone you're just in a relationship with, as in a romantic relationship. So I do find that very, very difficult. I do find that really difficult. So it's hard, I think, for me, when I'm just trying to be friends with someone, to have that deep emotional connection, and for it not to be any romance at all, because I'm a hyper romantic. They're kind of like deep emotional connection and romance with the opposite gender, because I'm heteromantic, is kind of like associated with romance for me. So that's very difficult to separate. But when Amit did his poem that I've just read out, you know, I put that, you know, in my response to his poem, I put, I think it's a beautiful poem, although I don't personally agree with not spending the time together bit. So, he responded by saying, I have wrote like, he's Indian, so obviously his English isn't impeccable, but he's put, I have wrote like spending time together means talking and gossiping is not love. Love is making memories with partner that make them feel you when they remember that moment with you. So he said, sorry, English is weak, which I understand, you know. So basically he's saying that, you know, basically like being together, spending time together is not about talking and gossiping, which I think is what he's getting at with taking selfies and that. It's basically making memories with your partner that will last a lifetime. So it's about being present, and I do think that's something that's really important in his poem. Now he's explained that it's all about being in the present moment. You know, so many people are, you know, how many people do you know who are like just your friends, for example, who, you know, who are busy playing on their phone when you're talking to them, or, you know, not giving you active attention. You know, when I'm in my asexual meetups, I have to keep my phone on just for the times when people are meeting me. So if we're going somewhere, we've got, like, for example, a meeting, like we met once at a Chinese restaurant, I've got to keep my phone on until all the people at that restaurant are there, or till I've allowed sufficient time for them to turn up, and it's 15-20 minutes, the rest of the people haven't turned up, pretty much is going to be like a no-show, isn't it? So but I've got to keep my phone on for meetups whilst I'm waiting for people. But after that, I can switch them off, you know. I don't need to. I need to be present in the moment for the people in front of me. And I think that's really important in life in general, and all types of relationships, where it's romantic, platonic, just friends, just mates, is to be really truly present with the person. I mean, there's nothing better, I don't think, than having someone have your ultimate attention and time when you're talking to them. You know, we live in such a fast-paced world. We're all super connected, and that's wonderful. But it can also get out of hand, so that when you're actually with someone, they're forever on their phone and, you know, they're not engaged with you. Obviously, if you're in a room with people and, you know, they're all watching TV and doing their own thing, like say you're with family. So I go around my parents, like I've been around there today. I went to see Angel, my furry kid guinea pig, and you know, but you know, my mum and dad love watching TV, and I did have I wasn't like, I had my phone in my bag for quite a long time. But, you know, if my mum and dad are intensely watching a program, they're not talking to me anyway, then yeah, I will look at my phone and check my messages and stuff like that. But, you know, if I'm going out with people from an asexual meetup, I'll be, you know, apart from, like I said, when I got the times of people coming and leaving, you know, well, you know, coming, really, not really leaving, but, you know, when they're coming to different parts of the meetups, then I've got to obviously be on the phone to take their calls or messages. If they're late or stuck in traffic or stuck on a bus somewhere, I've got to be, you know, have my phone on me for those times. But the rest of the time, I like to be present with the people who are there, because life is so short. And like Amit said, it's all about creating memories that last a lifetime. And he is right about that. That is what's true about true love, you know. It's about really creating those memories between you and that other person that you'll never forget, you know. And you can create memories like that with friends as well, you know. My best friends, I'll have memories to last a lifetime with the, with the things we do and special moments we have and things like that. I mean, this year, I don't know if I've told you on this channel, I don't think I've really mentioned it yet, but this year I'm going to have 2 asexual best friends with me for my birthday, and I am absolutely ecstatic about it. I cannot wait. I am so happy. My birthday's next month, and 2 of my bestest friends ever on the planet are coming for my asexual birthday. Yeah, and we're going to Breen Leisure Park and then out for food, and I'm just so happy to have both of my guy friends there. It's just incredible. I can't tell you, I'm hoping to have a few more people there as well, but it's just amazing. That's the best birthday present I could get, really, because usually on my birthday, I go out on my own, which I don't mind doing, but on my birthday, I'd really rather not, do you know what I mean? Like any other time of the year, I'm quite comfortable going out, but I've been going out on my birthday for years, like last year I went to the aquarium in Plymouth on my own. But it's nice for a birthday especially to have some company, because I've got this thing where I don't think it's good for any person to be on their own on their birthday or Christmas, special occasions. I think it's really important for a person to have other people there, a special occasion. I know some people don't celebrate their birthdays and stuff, but for me, birthdays are a huge deal. I used to be like negative years ago, but I've always been positive about my birthday. And I always think of all the people in the world that haven't even got lives, or that are dying, I'm great to be alive. I'm thankful to be alive, it's wonderful. I cannot explain. I mean, there's been storms in the UK recently, and I don't even know how any homeless people could have survived in those really bad storms with like things blowing everywhere. My windows, you can hear it now because there's storms coming again, that the windows are starting to rattle, But how the people who are homeless can survive that, I don't know. And I'm so grateful and thankful for the roof over my head. So yeah, of course I celebrate my birthday. Some people are like, oh, what's the point in celebrating a birthday? It's just another day. But you should be celebrating that. It's your life, It's the fact that you're alive, the fact that you're living and other people aren't. I mean, there's no better reason to celebrate than that. It's just incredible. It's euphoric. It's like amazing. It's a miracle that I'm still alive, I mean, I'm sure if you're anything like me, you've been through a lot of hardships and pain in some parts of your life. And to actually be still living, breathing, surviving, thriving, I mean, my gosh, that's just something to celebrate, isn't it? Don't you think it's worth celebrating when other people haven't even got their lives anymore, or people are dying from illnesses and diseases that they have no cure for? I think it is. I love any excuse or reason to celebrate even more of life, anything like that. It's just incredible, And next month is also my best female friend's birthday. She's older than me, quite a bit older, but she doesn't look it and doesn't really act it most of the time. She likes some older things than me. And she's 50, She's having a special birthday bash. She's paying for me to stay in a hotel overnight to be there for her birthday. And she is celebrating, 50 years of still being alive, She's had a life-threatening condition that people die from. Well, she's had 2 in her life. One was years ago, which, and another one was before Christmas. She had septicemia, And so her 50th birthday, she's having this massive party where I get to meet loads of her friends from all the different decades of her life. And she's having a hugely themed party and stuff, which I'll be there for. And yeah, she's celebrating the fact she's alive, come through all the hardships she's come through, because she's been through a heck of a lot in her life. Believe me, she's adopted and no longer has her adoptive parents either. So she's endured so much in life, and she's having such a big birthday bash because it just means so much to her. It means that she's celebrating life itself, the fact that she's living, surviving and thriving after all these years. That's what her birthday means to her. She's like, oh, other people don't understand why I'm having this huge massive party for my, she's inviting up to 200 people for her birthday, but I understand her because I know how much it means to her to actually be alive, And I think when you have something quite tragic happen to you, quite disturbing, quite shocking, that you could have died over, I think that, you appreciate life more. You're like, my God, there's a possibility I wouldn't have been here. I mean, the doctors told her When she had septicemia, rushed into hospital last year, she had septicemia of the epiglottis. So when I first got to hospital, she couldn't even breathe on her own. She would have breathing tubes down her throat, and up her nose. So I'm really fortunate to have my friend here still alive, She's one of the bestest friends I've ever had in my entire life. She goes out of her way to spend time with me. I know she loves me as a friend, and I love her as a friend. She's amazing person. She's got a heart of gold, and I really am so grateful and thankful for her in my life, And that's what she's celebrating, but some people don't get it. They don't understand why she's making a big deal of it. But of course it's a big deal. And I think, if more people had that attitude, it would be better. But the amount of people that are like, oh, why do I want to celebrate my birthday? It's just another day. It's like, are you crazy? Are you absolutely crazy? There are people dying all the time. There are people who can't have any life anymore, and you don't want to be bothered to celebrate your living because, you're feeling down and depressed about yourself. I mean, I understand what depression does, but at the end of the day, you really, really need to celebrate life because you need to be thinking of other people, not just you, all the people that have lost their lives, all the people that aren't here anymore in their lives, That's what's important to celebrate your birthday because you're still alive, you were born and you're still living. There's thousands of people around the globe that are dead. There's thousands of people that are struggling with really terminal diseases and illnesses that will not live year after year. We have still got our life. And so that is why it's important to celebrate your birthday, not just for you, but for celebrating the fact you are alive and grateful and thankful for that when other people aren't. And that's one of the major ways you can help with depression. Because if you're grateful and thankful for what you have right now and focus on what you've got rather than what you haven't got and the life that you wish you had but you hadn't, if you focus on what you have got and think, well, I've got a roof over my head, I've got food in my belly, I've got money in my purse, which, I've got all those things at the moment. I am so grateful and thankful for that in my life. Doesn't mean to say my life's perfect. Doesn't mean to say I don't have hard times sometimes. Doesn't mean to say that life isn't a struggle sometimes. But what it means is that I'm in a much better position than all the homeless people out there, the people that don't have money, the people that haven't got a hot meal inside them. Do you know what I mean? And that's why people should be celebrating their birthday, not doing, oh, it's just another day. It's a day for giving thanks. And one of the best things to combat depression is to think of other people and to also think about what you're thankful for in your own life. If you can't think about other people because well, that's not my life, think about what you do have, okay? Just literally write down the things you have got that some other people don't have, If you've got clean water, there's people around the world that don't have clean water. If you live in the UK, you've got an NHS service, National Health Service. Yes, it's in a bit of a crisis at the moment. It isn't brilliant, but at least we have that option, If you're got a roof over your head, you have shelter. Some people are out on the streets night in, night out with no shelter, no roof over their head. Some people don't know where their next meal's coming from, yet you have food in your belly. Do you see what I mean? This is focusing on all the positive things and why you should be grateful for the little things in life. The thing with the society is more and more people want more and more stuff all the time, but that's not what we really want. What we really want is love, compassion, understanding, caringness. And we need to be grateful and thankful for the things we do have in life. If you've got books at home, be grateful and thankful you've been able to have books in your life. That you can educate yourself or take yourself on a fantasy journey if you like fiction. If you've got movies, just think of all the beautiful movies you can watch when you want to, And if you've got TV, I don't watch TV, but if you like TV, just think that other people can't even afford a telly. There's always someone that's worse off than you, and you need to be grateful and thankful in this moment and time. And true love is about being very grateful and thankful for that person, and that is where a lot of people go wrong in relationships. They become too used to each other. They don't appreciate each other anymore, and they just take each other for granted. And that's what Amit's basically saying in his poem. It's not, true love is not about all this selfie business. It's not about all this outer stuff. It's about really making your loved ones happy. It's like bringing being there for them when they are upset. It's like wiping away their tears and making them happy and making precious memories together. That's what true love's all about. And obviously you can love your friends in that way as well. So it's really important that you really celebrate life and that you're also very grateful and thankful and look at true love for what it really is, not all this, oh, what can he do and she do for me? What can you actually do to care about each other in a really loving way? What can you do to actually get on as best friends? Because true love is all about bestest, deepest friendship. If you don't have the friendship there, no relationship will last, believe me. Even if it goes on for a number of years, it will not last in the very, very end. It has to come to an end because you cannot sustain it for forever and a day unless you want to be completely miserable for the rest of your life. It's not going to happen, So you have to be really, really grateful and thankful for what you've got, because when you're grateful and thankful for the little things you have in life, then when you get more of that, you'll be even more thankful and grateful. And you should also appreciate people that are here in your life. I appreciate every single person that watches this channel, I mean, I don't have tons of subscribers like other people do. Some asexuals, they have like 5,000 subscribers, 12,000 subscribers, 2,000 subscribers. I don't have that on this channel. But doesn't matter, does it? I'm still here showing up every single night or day. Hiya! I'm here showing up every single night or day to actually do a show for you, to make contact with you, to be in your life so that there's another asexual out there that does understand you. We may not be exactly the same type of asexual, some of us, but we can understand each other. And, by being there for each other, like if I'm here for you, you at least know that you've got someone who loves and cares about you, in the sense that I'm connecting with you, I'm here for you, I'm a real asexual, living a real asexual life, dealing with all the the problems that comes with asexuality in a highly sexualized world. But hopefully I show you that there's a lot of love in the world as well, and that we can have a loving, happy, fulfilling life as an asexual person. And it's all about appreciating each other, You'll notice that the poem that I just read out was from a demisexual person. So I appreciate everyone on the asexual spectrum. It doesn't mean to say it as a person, like, look, who's, I'm looking for a relationship. It doesn't mean to say that every single person's suitable for me to be in a relationship with, because they're not. But it means that by doing this channel, I still appreciate every single person on the asexual spectrum. I appreciate the people who are grey asexual or demisexual. I think it's very hard for those people, actually, because they kind of don't really fit into the highly sexualized world. I think there are no rules of true love. Yeah, you think there are no rules of true love? Fair enough. I actually kind of disagree with that a little bit, because when they say about unconditional love, I personally don't think unconditional love actually exists with people. I do think with pets, but not with people, usually, because you have to have standards in a relationship. You have to have boundaries. And really, you could call them conditions. Which, you have to have standards and boundaries. If you've got no standards in a relationship, then you won't be happy, because the other person could be doing things in the relationship that you really don't like. But if you establish standards and boundaries in the first place and the person doesn't meet up to those, then you won't be in a relationship with them. But obviously, like, for example, I can't be in a relationship with a guy who does drugs. He might be a really nice person, but I can't be in that because it's not the standard I have. I don't want to be around that. One of my exes, well, two of my exes, were involved with stuff, well, particularly one of them. Like, I can't, before I got with him, but I can't be around someone like that. That's my standard. So, if a guy was doing drugs or even smoking, I can't be with a smoker either, as you know if you've watched his channel. I can't even kiss someone who smokes because I got ill. I tried that last year for the first time in my life and got severely ill, chest infection for 7 weeks. So, I can't do it for my own health. So when people say unconditional love, and that's the ideal case scenario, I actually really don't believe that totally exists, because how can it? Because standards really are conditions, but you could call them two separate things, but at the end of the day, there are still criteria that someone needs to do to be in a relationship with you. Otherwise, it won't work. That goes both ways, It's like, there's certain things that a guy will like. So, for example, if a guy likes marriage, there are those of Indian guys, for example, they have to have marriage. I can't marry them. And that's a condition they have, They won't marry me, they won't be with me unless I'll marry them. So they're no good for me. That's still conditional. Do you see what I mean? You know, if love was totally unconditional, then it means all the sexual and asexual people in the world would just be together, doesn't it? It means anyone would be with everyone. That's what it actually means, but it's not. That's not reality. We like to think that love is unconditional, that you love a person no matter what. Maybe, yeah, in a friendship way you could more, because maybe you could accept some of the way they were more. But again, if you had a friend and they started to change and they started to be horrible to you and put you down and belittle you, you know, unless you're mad and want to stay in that abusive relationship, you'd go. So that's still, to me, it's a good condition. You need to have boundaries and standards and conditions in that way, you know. But to me, that's still a condition. It's a state of something that needs to be a certain way in order for you to do it or be part of it. To me, it's the same thing, you know. And I think, you know, this idea of unconditional love, which is through the ages, I actually don't think that that's totally true, because I know certain people in relationships that if the partners did a certain thing, like, for example, you don't have to do anything specific to be a lover. Well, I kind of disagree with that. You know, I mean, technically you don't have to, but then you're not going to be a necessarily good person, are you, for them, you know? I mean, lover I associate with a sexual person. I don't associate that with an asexual person in general, but I know some people use that. I mean, lover really is an actual traditional sexual term. It means you're having sex, they're your sexual lover. That's what it means. But when some asexuals say that, that's not what they mean. And that can be very, very confusing, especially if you've just met someone or on a dating app and they talk about lover, because a lot of the time that actual word lover refers to sex. It's like, you know, that they're my lover, they're my sex person, basically. That's what it means. So that gets very confusing. But asexual terms, if a person's genuinely asexual, it can mean the person they love, which gets very confusing. But, you know, it's like I can have someone for a relationship who wanted kids, because I don't want kids. I don't want to be near a person, like, physically, who wants kids, because they could do anything to me, and I don't want kids. And I wouldn't be in a relationship with a guy who wants kids, because there'd be no point wasting my time, you know. So there's no way I'd be a lover to someone who wanted children. There's no way I'm going to be a lover to someone who wants marriage. There's no way I'm going to be, you know, there's no way I'm going to be a lover to someone who's drug addict. It's not going to happen, because those are standards I set for myself and my relationships that really are actual conditions, you know. Let's look up the word condition in the dictionary. I'm sure or Google it. I'm sure that it says what actually the word condition is, but most people don't see it like that, you know. Right, let's Google dictionary and the word condition, because like condition's like a state of being, really, isn't it? Or a state of what you will allow and what you won't allow. Conditions, it'll probably come up something like medical conditions or something. Condition, the state of something with regards to its appearance, quality, or working order. A personal or animal state of health or physical fitness. An illness or other medical problem is known as condition. The situation in life of a particular group. Social position, because there's so many definitions, isn't there? The circumstances or factors affecting the way in which people live or work, especially with regard to their well-being. You see, that's why I would say that in relationships you definitely have conditions, because if you are not protecting your own health and well-being in a relationship, I mean, what hope is there? That just means people will run over you. That's why you have to have boundaries and standards, which really are conditions, because there's their circumstances that affect the way that you are with a certain person. Do you know what I mean? So, what else did it say? The factors or prevailing situation influencing the performance or outcome of a process. Of course, there are some concessions. I actually think that I actually don't know of any person who has a totally unconditional relationship that loves someone. I don't know that, you know. Maybe if they're completely compatible for themselves with each other, that they don't need to express those conditions. But if someone changed in the relationship and they did something the other person didn't like and couldn't bear anymore, then that would be their condition. If the person stops doing it and they don't be with them, or they stop doing it, or they don't be with them, basically. So I don't actually think that there is a such thing as unconditional love within a relationship. And I know that's really difficult to say that, because I don't think that anyone in the world will agree with me. But when you look at it as people having standards and people having boundaries, those are conditions, because those are states that you want the relationship to be living in and to be with. So like I said, I mean, I can't be with someone who has children. That's a condition I have, or a standard. You know, you can just replace all the condition with the word standard. You don't have to use the word condition, because people might not like that word. But the truth is, it's a condition, isn't it? It's like, well, if you want kids, I don't want to be with you. Simple as. There's thousands of people out there that want children, even including asexuals. So go and get one of those. Happy for you. Good luck. Lots of love. Bye. You know, so, you know, I can't be with someone like that. So, you know, I think there's a lot. I don't think there's anything such thing as unconditional love or something like that. I think it's easier, not in terms of relationship. I think it's easier to do that if you've got a friend. But if you had a friend that you saw who's really abusing other people or animals, you know, then you might think, I don't want to be friends with them anymore. And that's a standard and boundary, which you could call a condition, because it's like, I just can't be friends with that person anymore because I don't agree with the way they're behaving towards other beings or other animals or other things. So, you know, if they're going to carry on being like that, then I'm not going to be friends with them anymore, because you've got standards and boundaries which are good and healthy. Yeah, really, they're conditions, because they're states of the way the person is, the way they're being. So it's a really interesting topic, though. I'm really glad that, you know, it's good to have a lively discussion. You know, I don't expect everyone in the world to agree with me. Most people won't even think the way I do. But that's what I thought for a long time, and I just wanted to share it with you, really, because I don't think anyone thinks of boundaries and standards as being conditions, but they're really the same thing, you know. There are states that you want to be in with the person. There are and circumstances and things, and if they don't match up to those, then you can't be in that relationship, because it'd just be no good for you. So, you know, I think if you've got two people that's highly compatible, very similar in their outlooks, goals, ambitions and dreams, they work well together, they, you know, might compromise in a healthy way, they might not do anything that the other person doesn't want them to do naturally. So I think that can be more like unconditional love, because they don't need to have such conditions, because the person is naturally like they want them to be, if you know what I mean. But even in those type of relationships, they'll still have standards and boundaries. And if those other people, like, you know, the person they're with oversteps them or changes, because that's a problem with long-term relationships. People can change. You know, two beings will always grow and evolve, because if they don't, then it can become an unhealthy relationship. And sometimes they can grow and evolve so much that they no longer are compatible with each other, because they're just on different wavelengths, you know. I mean, some people might say they don't want kids, and then decide later on they do. I mean, I've got to make sure I don't get with one of those guys, which is the problem with liking younger guys, is they don't know what they want a lot of the time. They don't know if I want kids or marriage. They haven't made their mind up, and it's like, well, it's no good to me. I need someone definite. That's a benefit of a younger guy being with an older woman. She knows what she wants in life. It's very set. And like, this is what I want, this is what I expect, this is my boundaries, this is my standards. If you don't like it, that's it, we're not compatible. And it's very specific. So I think actually a younger guy like an older woman, that's some of the qualities he really looks for. But if he's not at that mature age of knowing what he wants yet, then it's no good for the woman, if you know what I mean. It's just no good at all. It's like, well, get back to me in 5 years' time when you decided what to do with your life and you're stable and secure in that mindset way, you know what I mean? But anyone can change, that's the thing. You know, some people change huge careers, can't they? They can be doing one job, living with you, and the next minute they say, well, I've got this job opportunity now in a foreign country. You know, if they're going to take it, then normally you'll split up, won't you? Because it's like, well, come with me, or we split up if they can't do long distance. So, you know, it's this unconditional love. I don't actually think it exists 100%, to be perfectly honest. In an ideal romantic relationship, fantasy maybe, but in reality, I don't think it actually exists. I mean, even all the dating coaches talk about unconditional love, but they also talk about boundaries and standards in a relationship. And if they actually thought about what condition means, and it means like the circumstances in which something happens, You know, like, in order to facilitate a loving, happy, healthy relationship, there's got to be standards, there's got to be boundaries, and those are really conditions. Otherwise, you can't be with the person. So, you know, I don't think unconditional love actually exists. Probably in animals is the only thing, you know, like a pet will love you. But, I mean, you know, you can't even have some pets, if, you know, if you're doing bad things to them, which I would never do because I love pets, you know, then they might scratch or bite you and stuff like that because they don't want to be hurt. Which is, you know, because they have standards themselves. They need to protect themselves. And that's only natural. So I think that, you know, unconditional love doesn't really exist at all, to be honest. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful and insightful in some way. I've really loved this discussion and debate because obviously it's nice to have different points of view, not just my own. And I really appreciate it. It's nice to hear your view on love. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified every time I go live like now and post a new video. You have another view for love. Oh, hi Heather. I didn't realise you were watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I know Ivan was here earlier as well, so thanks to Ivan who was here earlier. He briefly came in and went out. Night, lots of love to you both. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Don't forget this video a thumbs up if you are liking the content in any way, find it interesting, you know, chat or discussion. And I'll